Hey there folks, I am the Mighty Plantain. Thanks for checking out this video. Sam Adams fans are 2 for 3 this year. Not only did we get Old Fezziwig in 6-packs, but we also got the return of some of our favorites in the Throwback Pack. For those that missed it, this was available through givethembeer.com. It might still be available. It was mail order only and available in the tap room in Boston, which, look, I would have rather seen it get a wide release to stores. I'll take what I can get. Check out their main Facebook page if you missed it. It should still be available, I think. But you can mail order this through givethembeer.com. It's a 4-pack of 16-ounce cans with fan-voted on favorites to come back for this limited release. We got the Scotch Ale, Noble Pils, Honey Porter, and Irish Red. So that's 2 out of 3. Third step, bring back original Boston Lager. Fuck this remastered shit. Give us back the real thing. God damn it. If they announced that on, I don't know, somewhere around December 25th, Merry fucking Christmas, that would make this just a great year for Sam Adams fans. I mean, we're already kind of there. 2 out of 3 is great, but that would just be the icing on the cake. We'll forgive you. It will go the route of New Coke and Classic Coca-Cola, or Coca-Cola Classic, whatever the fuck they're calling it. I don't even care if you rebrand it and keep the remastered one out there and just say it's, you know, Sam Adams Boston Lager Legacy. Just give it back to us. Anyway, that would just be the icing on the cake and make this a perfect year for Sam Adams fans. But enough about that. Let's get into this pack. So, Scotch Ale, Irish Red, Honey Porter, and Noble Pils. Those are the order I think I'm going to go ahead and do them in. Scotch Ale and Irish Red are kind of from light to dark. They're about, I think the Scotch Ale might actually be a darker color than the Irish Red, and it might be a heavier beer. But if I remember right, the Irish Red is a hoppier beer. And the Honey Porter is probably less hoppy than the Irish Red, but it's also a lot darker. Noble Pils obviously comes last because it's the hoppiest of the beers. So I think the Scotch Ale, Irish Red, Honey Porter, Noble Pils will be the right order. I could be wrong, but you know what? I only get one shot at this because maybe I'll get another one. I don't know. I'm tempted to just stash this in the fridge and not open it, but by the time I decide I really want to crack into them and give in, they'll have skunked. So might as well do it now. Scotch Ale, 5.5% ABV, and they did not list the IBUs on here. I'm going to go ahead and read the label on these. A brew for adventurous ale drinkers, an ale with 4 special malts, including a rare peat smoked malt used in Scotch whiskies. This unique malt gives Scotch Ale a subtle smoky flavor and deep amber hue. This is a big malty brew with a long, smooth finish. Yes, smoked malt. Peat smoked malt. I mean, said it right on the label. It's what gives most Scotch whiskies their flavor. All. Anyway. Yes. Just pouring it out, it's got a nice caramel color to it. Oh, I could smell its roastiness from here. Get that under the light. Oh, somewhat effervescent. Plenty of bubbles coming up from there. Just a nice brown, golden brown color. That looks good. Smoky, roasty, slightly sweet. Just a hint of peatiness. Which, you know, peat is, kind of blends in with smoke sometimes, but it's got like this weird earthy, smoky character, especially when it's been used to burn. It's been burnt to smoke something. And just a nice earthy aroma there as well, but can't sit here smelling it all night. Man, I miss this one. Honestly, it's got a lighter mouthfeel than you would expect. It's got like a medium light mouthfeel. Again, earthy as well as being roasty and smoky. Smooth though, very, very smooth. There's just a very, very slight undertone of sweetness. Very malty. Almost some breadiness to it. Almost. Yeah, again, there's not a lot of complex or different or commingling flavors. It's all kind of one set of smoky, roasty, earthy flavor, but with a hint of sweetness. It's just what I'm trying to say without saying is that it is a one-trick pony. It's just got that one character to it, but honestly, that's all it needs. It's all it needs. A Scotch Ale is a smoky beer. Smoky beer with a rich character. And again, I believe that the earthiness that I'm getting comes from the smoke from the peat getting into the malt. It's there. The breadiness is just a testament to the grain bill and the different malts in there. It's lending itself towards that breadiness, but it's definitely smoky, toasty, and just fucking good. Again, it's a one-trick pony. Excuse me. Excuse me. So I'm hitting the Scotch Ale with a 4.5 out of 5. And yes, it's getting extra points for being a bit of nostalgia that's coming back to us, but well, I guess nostalgia doesn't come back to you. It's getting some extra points for the feeling of nostalgia I'm getting while drinking it. How's that for wording it better? But it's just delicious. Yeah, it's going to take me a while to get through these because I'm going to savor these motherfuckers. I'm going to finish this up and then move on to the Irish Red. All right, next up is the Irish Red. All right, deep russet in color, our Irish Red is full of hearty, roasty character inspired by the red ales of Ireland. Brewed to suit the cool, rainy days or any time in a pub, we use roasted caramel malts for a rich, smooth malt backbone and balance them with earthy English hops for a comforting and satisfying brew. Again, I really wish this was like a 12-pack available at the local store, because by the time I'm done with these 4, it's going to be a nice nostalgic throwback, but I want them again. Oh, I don't know. Maybe if we make sure that these sell out this time around, they'll look at re-releasing some of them. One can only hope. I used to grab the Sam Adams Irish Red on a somewhat regular basis in my early craft beer days. I liked Killian's too. I think you can still get Killian's, but the Sam Adams Irish Red was a nice other option. It's a little hoppier than most Irish Reds. And it's looking a little cloudy, slightly effervescent, but it's got that nice reddish tinged brown color, almost like a brewed tea, but it gets redder where the beer gets thicker. Roasty and hoppy. It's not a combination you always get from a beer. There's just like this nice... honestly, I'm going to say it. It comes across as a fall beer because it smells kind of like fall. That hoppy bitterness and the roasty malt just kind of comes together to give you that impression of freshly crushed, dried leaves. Or at least for me, it does. Oh, roasty and sweet. Nice medium mouthfeel. Roasty and sweet with like this burst of hoppy bitterness in the finish. Little earthy, a little grassy, maybe a slight tinge of citrus there. Maybe. Really, really good. Like I said, it tends to be a little hoppier than most Irish Reds, which is a good thing. It's got just this right balance of hoppy bitterness to bring out, or to complement the malt character of the beer. And again, it's a familiar taste, something that we haven't had a chance to get for a little while now. This one's getting hit with a 4.5 out of 5 as well. And there's not much more I can say about it. It's a solid Irish Red. It's got a nice, sweet, roasty, malty character, followed up by a hoppy bitterness that's earthy, grassy, and maybe slightly citrusy. But that is what it is. 4.5 out of 5 on the Irish Red. Again, points for nostalgia. I'm going to finish this one up. We'll move on to the Honey Porter. All right, and now the Honey Porter. This one I think came out in a more limited release than these other two. I seem to remember the Honey Porter only being around for a little while. So this one's an ale brewed with honey added. Honey Porter is a flavorful and full-bodied porter that has a big roasty malt profile with a smooth, rounded finish, brewed with traditional English ale hops and dry hopped with Goldings, known for their spicy aroma and earthy flavor. That the distinctive character in this brew comes from unique floral and earthy sweetness of Scottish honey. So maybe this one, if it was dry hopped, it's probably more hoppy than the Irish Red. It probably does belong in this order in the lineup that I did. So, I'm trying to remember where the Honey Porter existed in the lineup. I almost wanted to say it was a limited edition seasonal release at one point, but it also seems like you could get it more often than that. But I don't remember it having the staying power that these other two did. I seem to remember seeing it in a much more limited fashion. So anyway, yes, should have done some research. But you know what? We're here to taste the beer and talk about it, not do a history lesson. I mean, not tonight. Sometimes I do. But dark, somewhat hazy, but not a lot of light getting through there. It's very, very light brown down here, but it gets a darker brown up here. There's a bit of a honey color to it, perhaps. I'm getting a hint of floral off of that. But mostly just a nice, even roasty character. Bit of sweetness. I mean, there's some common themes in these first three. Hint of sweetness, roasty, malty. That's going to get shaken up by the noble pills. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's got a nice solid malt backbone, but anyway, we're not going to get ahead of ourselves here. Yeah, just earthy and toasty, slightly sweet and slightly floral. Nice medium heavy mouthfeel. Some good body to that. That's interesting. The earthiness is definitely there. There's a bitter earthiness and overall hoppy bitterness, mildly hoppy bitterness, not like an overwhelming. And it's just blending perfectly well with the roasty character of the malts. slight hint of floral in the finish, and overall sweetness. And in addition to that medium heavy mouthfeel, it has, it has like this, like a slight stickiness to it. Not like my lips are getting glued together or anything like that. Just you get the idea that there is honey in that beer. Because it has that slightly sticky mouthfeel on top of the overall body of it. Damn hiccups are trying to come through. I'm not even 3 beers deep yet. Pardon. Although they are 16 ounces. So, yeah. I'm really digging the honey porter. There, see? Hiccups. God damn it. Nothing else that I haven't described is coming through. But I'm getting all those different things kind of all at once on the palate. It's, you kind of, a little something comes forward here and there. But for the most part, all those flavors are blending together. I'm hitting this one. This is another one that I'm hitting with a 4.5 out of 5. So far, pretty solid, and I pretty much know what to expect from the Noble Pils unless they completely fucked it up in the meantime, which is possible. They did it with their flagship beer. But anyway, yeah, another 4.5 out of 5. Really, really glad to have the honey porter back, even if it is just this one time and won't see it again for God only knows how long, but damn good. All right, I'm going to finish it up. I'm going to close this one out. Stumbled over that. Finalize and close this one out with the Noble Pils. All right, last up is the Noble Pils. And the honey porter, by the way, was 5.4% ABV. I think I forgot to mention that when I first looked it over and cracked it open. Pardon. But the Noble Pils is a lager, actually, considered a lager at 4.9% ABV. A lot of people think that it's an IPA. It was never billed as an IPA, and I guess I didn't realize myself that it was actually a lager beer up until just now. Or maybe I knew it and forgot it. I don't know. But I never referred to it as an IPA because it was never billed as an IPA. Don't know why that's important. So, Noble Pils. Pilsners, hailing from the Czech town of Pilsen? All right. Pilsen makes sense. Were a revelation in 1842 as golden, crisp lagers, the likes of which Europe had never seen before. For our unique take on this classic style, we used Bohemian Spring barley and all 5 noble hops for a citrusy hop character and bright, refreshing flavor. Sorry, the white on the green was not doing well for me. A little trouble reading through that. Plus, getting a bit of a good buzz on. Now, this is definitely by far the lightest of the beers in this pack, but it's also going to be the hoppiest. I really wish they had listed the IBUs on these cans. Probably could have looked them up on Untapped. The historical numbers of there. Oh my God, I can smell the hops as I'm pouring it out. Very light, slightly hazy, fairly hazy, slightly effervescent beer, but just definitely a very, very light yellow color. Oh man, it's a bitter hoppy aroma. It's a very resiny, bitter hoppy aroma, almost like almost rubbery. A little history on the Noble Pils. It was actually one of the first really hoppy beers that I had, and I wasn't a big fan of it at first. And a lot of people who are fans now of IPAs or hoppy beers can have a similar story, I'm sure, where you just drank something that you weren't that into, and then all of a sudden, like, the hops just made sense, and everything after that that was less hoppy and less bitter was like easy. And like, holy shit, it just opened up this whole new world by just overwhelming yourself with the hoppiness of a bitter beer that you didn't really like at first, but then came to love. Long and short of it is, I was just starting into craft beer when Noble Pils came out, and I really wanted to impress this girl I was dating by having, classy fringe beer. Yeah. I wound up marrying that woman and then divorcing her. So, guess that's not really important, but the Noble Pils thing was just kind of interesting to me. And I have inoculated a few people's palates by just hitting them with hugely hoppy beers, similar to the Noble Pils. Sometimes Noble Pils, sometimes, I'm going to mention other breweries here, sometimes Ruination from Stone and Ruin 10 from Stone. So if you find somebody that you really want to get into the hoppy beers, but they absolutely refuse to try them, get them to drink a Ruination or Ruin 10 at least once. And then after that, any hoppy beer you introduce them, they'll be fine. Just ask Boosh. Oh, I missed that. It's got like this decent roasty malt backbone. And you wouldn't think roasty, but it has that roasty, smoky character, even though it's wheat. I think it's a wheat. Oh my god, I'm doing great. Bohemian Spring Barley. Sorry, not wheat. Barley. But it has that same light graininess that you get with a wheat beer sometimes. Yet still somehow roasty. Which, again, it gives it a solid malt backbone, even though it's a lighter one like barley. But then that just plays right into... They mentioned citrusy. I'm getting citrus, but I'm also getting all of the other hop esters. I'm getting some floral, I'm getting some earthy, I'm getting some grassy, I'm even getting a little bit of dankness off of that. It's just this rich, hoppy bouquet that comes together into an overall hoppy bitterness, even though every single one of those different esters comes forward at different times. Even the burps are nice and hoppy. Medium mouthfeel. It's got some significant body to it, despite having such a light-looking color. Yeah, this is the one I missed the most out of the four. I'm hitting this with a 5 out of 5. It is, honestly, if it were an IPA, it would be a perfectly balanced IPA. But it's not an IPA. It's a lager made with noble hops. And honestly, it's closer to a Czech Pilsner than anything else. And again, being a lager, Czech Pilsner is also a lager. Lager and ale yeast, the only two different yeasts that are used in beers. Any other style is either a lager or an ale by virtue of the yeast, and then the other styles come into play after that. Anyway. Noble Pils, combination of the flavor, the hoppiness, the perfectly balanced beer, and the nostalgia factor. I still picture myself in my ex-wife's backyard when we first started dating with a 6-pack of Noble Pils. I crack open the first one like, look at me, I drink fancy beers, and 2 sips later, like, oh shit. I've got to choke down 5 more of these in order to look like I know what I'm talking about. And by the time I got done with that pack, I was like, okay, now I want to get another one. So, anyway. Shit. Full on 5 out of 5 for me. Miss Noble Pills. With any luck, they'll bring one or more of these back, and honestly, I would be happy to be able to buy any of these on a regular basis. Throwback Pack, man. Honestly, for the memories of the Noble Pills alone, this thing is worth the money. It was like $20 free shipping through givethembeer.com. At $20 is what you're going to pay for a local 4-pack of 16-ouncer craft beers anyway, and not having to pay for the shipping on top of that, that's just icing on the cake, folks. If it's still available, get one, check it out. Hit me up down below in the comments, the email link. Love to hear what you have to say about any of these beers individually. Pardon. Or the pack as a whole. If you're not able to get your hands on, let's talk about the memories you have of these beers and which one you would rather get a hold of than any of the others. Anyway, for me, this pack was a very good investment. I might actually try to get another one. Let's see if it's still available and order one before the end of the year. But yeah, I'm loving this. Very, very good. Very awesome. While you're down there talking about the beers, hit me up with a like and a share. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Until next time, folks, thanks for tuning in. Fucking cheers, man.